Odds and outs. Oftentimes, you do not have the best hand on the flop, but you have a draw that you can make a made hand with on one of the following streets. For example, a flush draw. Each card that improves your draw into a made hand is called an out. For a flush draw, this is every card in the respective suit, in this case, every heart, although a pair would also be a made hand. It still is improbable that you will hold the best hand with that. The 7s and 8s do not count as outs. Take a look at what kind of draws there are and how many outs they have. A flush draw is completed by every card of the respective suit. Each suit consists of 13 cards, 2 lay on the board, 2 are held by yourself. So 9 cards remain that would give you a flush, which means you have 9 outs. With an open-ended straight draw, you have 8 outs. In this example, every 9 and every 4. 2 overcards. If you on the flop and have 2 overcards, then it is very probable that you will hold the best hand, if you make a pair with one of the cards. In this case, every ace and every queen helps you, which equates to 6 outs. You have 5 outs when you already hold one pair, and you hope to hit either 2 pair or trips. Here you already have a pair with K9 on the flop, and every other K or other 9 will get you a 2 pair or trips. Those are equal to 5 outs. A gut shot straight draw, such as here Ace 2 5 4, has 4 outs. Every 3 will get you the straight. Now you know how many outs a certain draw has. In order to decide if you can call a bet from your opponent with a certain draw, you first have to find out what the chances are that one of these outs will appear and will complete your draw. This probability is given with odds. Now, how do you determine these odds? As you certainly know, there are 52 cards in poker altogether. You know 2 of them since you hold them in your hand. 3 more cards are also known to you. They lay on the flop. So on the flop, there are 47 cards remaining, which can appear on the following streets. In order to calculate the probability of a draw's appearance, you have to take the ratio of your outs and the cards that do not help you out of the remaining cards. This is what it will look like going from the flop to the turn. Out of the 47 cards, there are 9 that help you and complete your flush, your outs. The other 38 do not help you. Now you divide your outs, 9, by the total number of remaining cards, 47. This is around 20%, or 4 to 1. Those are the odds. They are always given in the form X to Y. For every 4 non-helpful cards, there is 1 helpful card. So on average, you hit your flush draw once out of 5 times. In order to decide if you can profitably play a hand against a bet of your opponent, you must compare your odds with the so-called pot odds. But what are pot odds? Pot odds help you to decide whether you can profitably call a draw. They provide the risk-reward ratio, so they give the ratio of the possible reward compared to the amount of money you still have to bet. Assume your opponent bets $2 at the flop. If you called, you would miss the flush 4 times, and each of these times you would lose $2. So this adds up to a loss of $8. Every 5th time you get your draw, and you win a $10 pot. So your possible reward is $10. And your stake is $2, so it is 5 to 1. These are your pot odds. To decide if a call is profitable, you now compare your odds with your pot odds. Are your pot odds higher than your odds? You can call. Are the pot odds lower than your odds? You should fold. Take a look at typical draws, their outs, and the possibility to hit one of these outs on the next street or on one of the next 2 streets. A gut shot straight draw has 4 outs, and the odds are 11 to 1 that your draw will appear on one of the 2 following streets. If you take a look at both remaining streets, the odds are 5 to 1. A flush draw has 9 outs. The odds are 4 to 1 for the turn or river and 2 to 1 for both streets. An open-ended straight draw with a pair has 13 outs, and the odds are 2.5 to 1 or 1 to 1 respectively. An overview of all draws, their outs and the respective odds you will find in the article to this lesson. By the way, There is a rule of thumb to roughly estimate your odds when there isn't time for a detailed calculation. To calculate the odds for one street, you multiply the outs of your draw by 2. In case of a flush draw, these are 9 outs times 2, which equals 18%. This means odds of roughly 4 to 1. To consider both remaining streets, you multiply your outs by 4. In this case, you get 36%, which again means odds of roughly 2 to 1. Let us summarize. Cards that complete a draw are called outs. The probability to hit an out is given by odds. Using odds and outs as well as pot odds, you can calculate if you can profitably call a draw.